Sonic Youth on WNYU's New Afternoon Show from their forthcoming new LP, Goo, and the song Dirty Boots. Before that, Surgery from a new 7-inch, Fried Scrawl before the news. That was from Smallmouth, and Rot, the name of the song. And we have two members of Sonic Youth with us today, Steve and Lee. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
And, Hi, I'm Steve.
Let's get the voices down. All right. We're rocking. Now, when is this LP actually going to be out? Because we just kind of have the advanced cassette,
2 weeks, I think, the 26th of June.
Mm-hmm. It's been kind of the long-awaited major label debut. Everyone's pegging it as. Is that going to hinder you? You know, people are going to put you up to a different standard. They're going to say, "Wow, well, these guys are now the big major label. What are they going to do? Are they going to?"
I don't know what they're going to do. It's not going to change what we do very much.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of kind of strange expectations about this record, and it has been pretty long in coming. Should I move closer?
Yeah, okay. A little bit.
But we just kind of go along the way we always do. It's a new label, but we've been on like 5 different labels, so it's just another one.
No big thing.
Yeah, well, it's a bit more of a heavy interference pattern thing, but we're trying to go through it.
Mm-hmm. Heavy interference.
Well, there's a lot more people involved, a lot more people in your life, a lot more people who think they sort of know what's best for you. I know what you guys should do, and I know who you should work with, and I know where you should record, and a lot more of that than we're used to from people that, it's okay when your close friends are saying that kind of stuff to you, but it's just a little bit different. It's okay.
So did that change anything that you wanted to do on this album that you couldn't do, or any frustrations?
Not really. It just added a bit more confusion than usual.
There's usually a good amount of confusion, and this time it was a whole hairball of confusion.
Mm-hmm. I've read in a couple of interviews where people have just, analyzed you as the rock guitar band of the 80s, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think people are taking that, to an extreme, too seriously, or are you just plugging along? How does that kind of play into how you approach your music?
Well, it's like, it's weird to talk about yourself as far as this kind of stuff goes. I think there's a certain place where we were doing stuff with guitars that not a lot of other people were doing. I mean, so if people liked it, definitely there was something different we were doing with them. I think that's kind of an old point at this point. I mean, people ultimately either like the music because it's good as songs or as music, and, it doesn't matter if you're in weird tunings or whatnot. And the 80s was the guitar decade, wasn't it? Like the resurgence or whatever. England discovered guitar about halfway through the decade,
I guess now they're coming out with a lot of that jangle guitar stuff.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that around.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think the 90s is? Any ideas? I
don't know. Whose decade is this? Is this a dinosaur's decade? See, we're the 80s guitar band, this isn't our decade. So we can sort of slip through this decade. We don't have to worry about championing the sound of a decade.
You've done that.
Yeah, so we can just sort of walk the crack.
Okay. The new LP, I guess Goo, I read, is a character.
Yeah.
You want to explain where it came from?
Goo came from a Raymond Pettibone movie called Sir Jerome. That's sort of his movie on punk rock, and
and he used to be in Black Flag.
Yeah,
maybe
he was
for a couple days. He was their cover artist for a long time.
He's Greg Ginn's brother, and he does a lot of the covers for the Black Flag and Minutemen albums and stuff like that, and he does the cover of our new record, and
he's a pretty
there's a
good
character in the
point.
movie called Goo, and that's about as far as it gets.
She was a teenage girl or something.
She's
like
a
that.
punk rocker. She plays the drums, and,
So this is an ode.
Hangs out. That's about all there is to be said.
This is an ode to Goo.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, so we had gotten something with all this goo on it in the mail, and I guess it.
Yeah, that's the clever promotional tool.
The wacky promotion.
But nobody out there ever sees that kind of stuff.
That's to get the buzz going.
Yeah.
The industry
we've
buzz.
We've learned lots of new terminology in the last
new strategies
couple months.
for moving product.
So do you walk the ropes of the industry now, or do you still kind of?
We're on the street.
We're on our way towards claiming a position at the head of the industry.
Oh, okay.
So that we can tell them what to do.
And do you think they're going to listen?
Not right now, but eventually I think they'll come around.
Well, I just wanted to ask, the song we played, Dirty Boots, I know that some kind of, was it an ode to ZZ Top or something like that? It was a play on ZZ Top thing.
I don't know. Where'd you get that?
The infamous
Bio?
industry thing, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe in Thurston's Dreams,
it's a
ode
song
to
about
ZZ
like
Top.
a rock band being on the road, like being in the van, driving from one gig in the Midwest to another gig in the Midwest, that kind of thing. But I thought the ZZ thing was last record.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask that. I
Did
was
we
like,
do that already?
Eliminator Jr.
Yeah, we
said.
always called that ZZ. That was our ZZ song.
So I was wondering, I thought this was a string of ZZ
Just
things.
can't
I had
get
to
'em
just
out of our
clear that
head,
up.
you
It
know?
may well be. I mean, they may come to be seen, in the future as very representative of the period in which we've gone through. Where a lot of other bands' music will fall away. I think that, ZZ Top may just be one of those bands.
ZZ will live on.
You guys haven't acquired any beards yet, have you?
No, I had one
Okay.
for a little while, but not publicly.
Okay. Seeing that we don't have too much time, I wanted to kind of move on to something that you've done for a compilation. I guess you've done a couple of these tribute LP sort of
A
things.
couple.
The Bridge was most recent, and then this one that just came out, Smiles, Vibes, and Harmony, the Brian Wilson tribute.
Right.
And is this just kind of a fun thing?
It
sidekick?
cannot end. I don't know.
can't
we
say
can't
no.
stop it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is there
we
any
would really like to stop, but we can't.
Is there any tribute LP you'd like to see done? You guys have in mind doing?
Well,
Not me.
not necessarily. Kramer's doing this Ruddles tribute. Hopefully that'll kill off the tribute market.
And if we have to be on it at all, we told them we're going to do a Spinal Tap song.
That sounds like the
Just to-
best one yet.
But,
yeah, it could be the best one yet.
Yeah.
It might be the death nail in the coffin, which would be kind of good at this
Yeah.
point.
That and
I mean,
guess
even the majors are getting into it now. There's like a Rocky Erickson tribute that Warner Brothers is trying to put together.
no.
It's just getting out of hand.
yeah,
I
it's
Yeah, well, this Imaginary label
Right.
started the whole. Well, they
that's
did
his
most of them.
concept from the word go, and it's an okay concept, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depending on which bands they get.
Right,
But
exactly.
you think
Which
like in
artist.
10 years, 20 years, there'll be a Sonic Youth tribute LP? That
before that, unfortunately.
There's one in the works, believe it or not, in
Really?
Italy right
Yeah.
now.
In
20,
Italy?
20 bands are doing
I
Sonic
think
Youth covers or
10
something.
bands or something
They
like
asked
that.
us for like an unreleased track to put on it or something like that.
10 Italian bands doing Sonic Youth songs.
Wow.
There've been
So
a couple
that could
selected-
kill the tribute album right there.
I don't know. I think it'll be like the Butthole Surfers tribute and
Yeah, we're quickly moving into the decade. You guys had done a few fall songs too. That was
we did our. That's true. That was our own personal tribute, like for no reason other than it came out of us. We did 4 fall songs.
That's
for
like a
Peel
whole
session.
separate EP.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should have
that's a-
brought you one of those.
That's a bootleg, so unfortunately we don't
That's
have
true,
that
that's
with us.
true.
We do have it though, somewhere.
You have it? Oh,
yeah,
good.
try and dig it up. But I don't know how much time we have for playing songs, so I
Well,
didn't
yeah.
take it out.
People
dust
have
it
to
off.
go to their local libraries to get all these out after the interview, so they can, So keep a pad and pencil handy.
All right, well, I did want to play the one from Smiles Vibes,
Okay.
just because
Okay.
it is pretty recent. And you guys do the song, I Know There's an Answer.
We do.
That sounds.
Any reason? You guys pick your own songs? Favorite Brian Wilson song?
Well, we
or-
wanted to do "Hang On to Your Ego," which was an unreleased track from Pet Sounds, but
It's the same song with earlier words that the
Yeah.
rest of the band just said, wait a minute,
Mike
Brian.
Love said, "No way, we can't put out a song called "Hang On to Your Ego," so it became "I Know There's an Answer." And so when we tried to record "Hang On to Your Ego," there was still a problem with doing that. So
From Brian Wilson and
Yeah.
Dr. Land.
Really?
They didn't
Yeah.
want it to be out.
They were never known for interfering with Brian Wilson, were they?
No.
Okay, let's just hear it then.
okay.
I Know There's an Answer, Sonic Youth's tribute to Brian Wilson, so to speak. Smiles, Vibes, and Harmony compilation on the New Afternoon Show. Sonic Youth from Goo, and that's a forthcoming LP. Mildred Pierce. Any words on that song? That was definitely a screamer, I'd say.
I think the sole lyric is Mildred Pierce.
And was that one of your favorite characters? Joan Crawford played her?
That was one of the very first songs we ever wrote.
Mhm.
And back at that point in time, we were titling a lot of things after films or whatnot. We had a song called Where the Red Fern Grows, and there were a couple other ones that we didn't have titles, so we just used films. And I guess that was one of Thurston's characters because he titled it.
I think he'd watched the movie the night before.
All
Or
right.
something like that.
What an inspiration. So that's talking 10 years ago or so?
Almost.
8 or 9?
81, yeah.
Uh-huh. And before that, we heard your cover of I Know There's an Answer, Brian Wilson's song. It
Right.
seems that you guys pick a lot of these tragic characters. Karen Carpenter on this LP, the song Tunic, and I know that you had Robert Chambers' song Eliminator Jr. Was that the last LP?
It's like the American dream gone bad.
Is that some kind of fascination with the band? Just these people who are completely distorted?
Something all four of us share is an interest in those type of characters.
Yeah, it has to do with the culture in a certain way. They're like emblematic of a certain kind of thing that is happening.
What do you think it says about this society?
You have a sick culture, man. As the Dutch would say.
Yeah, right? Well, they're pretty normal compared to us, I'd say.
They're very wholesome, very wholesome.
Our Dutch friend who was here with us on one tour a couple of years ago, the first thing that happened when we left New York was we ran into some big mall like down by Georgia, and we took him to this mall, and like a Dutch person has no idea what a mall is, and he was totally horrified at the idea that you could go to this like one complex of shops and like never have to leave to buy anything you wanted.
It was also an empty mall. All these shops open with no one in there.
Well,
like
these days it's like so many malls, they're all empty because
Right.
just people can't even stand being inside them.
Indeed.
So, and it's the whole suburban thing too.
Yes,
But-
it is. So we're vicarious, mall rats.
Mall rats, getting all the songs from malls. Now, I guess I'm not really sure what projects you guys have worked on. I know that Kim Gordon did the Harry Cruz record that just came out, and that's with Lydia Lunch, and also Thurston Moore did the Barefoot in the Head LP.
Right,
So,
Those both just came out recently. Uh-huh.
I was wondering what you had side projects. I know, Lee, you do a lot of production work. I'm not really
Well,
sure.
I've done some, not too much. I did a band last year called the False Virgins that should be out pretty soon, and I was about to do the new Hyenas record, but our schedules crossed. I think they just finished it up. I was at one point going to go out there and work with them on that, but then scheduling just got screwed up, which is unfortunate because I would have really loved to do that. They're a great band. And Kim just helped this band called STP that we know did some of the production work on their record. They're really good too. They're going to be playing our tour dates with us in August. And I don't know what aside from that immediately.
And you?
Oh, just when someone calls me up, like Jad Fair or something like that, I'll get together and record, or I've done a couple dates like that. Nothing.
Nothing recorded.
Yes, I have recorded a couple things with Jad, and one thing with Kramer and Jad, and one thing with Jad and Don Fleming. But I'm not sure if either of those will see the light of day.
Yeah, in the vaults, that'll be like when Sonic Youth is this big legend. People will go and pay about $50 for that,
On the whatever the format is that replaces CD with unreleased tracks in 10 years to get you to buy it all over again.
Okay, well, speaking of the unreleased kind of stuff, we just wanted to maybe play this song and then talk one more time and say goodbye, etc. But this is something you're not going to find on the CD. It's just on the 12-inch.
Yeah, and none of that is for sale, unfortunately, so they're not going to find it at all. But they'll find the cool
find
thing
it
on
in the
album.
sounds bin.
Yeah, but it's all promo, unfortunately.
Okay.
Or fortunately, I don't know. We weren't crazy about releasing a single that they would have to try and get on the charts or whatever. So they're just releasing it to radio stations. So you're one of the lucky.
Yeah, right? It'll show up.
Or
bootlegs.
unlucky.
This is the 8-track demo version of Cool Thing. And
Yes, it
do you
is.
want to say a couple of words? I guess Jay Mascis did some production on
Jay
this.
Mascis and Don Fleming mixed it. Yeah, they're the producers of it. They held our hand all through the demo process from beginning to end.
So how does it go from demo to 12? I haven't heard the demo yet, so I'm not really sure the difference in how do you...
Well, the demo is where you do
production, et cetera.
the whole album in 4 days, and the album is where it takes 3 months.
Right.
to get something that's not as good as the 4 days.
Exactly. So
No.
did you have specific changes you had to make from this that we're not... Because I'm not going to play both versions. I just
No,
thought I'd play
you just
one.
listen to it and like
See what's good,
Yeah.
see what's bad, see how it went, see if it was too slow, or which it always is.
what you
stuff
like,
that.
what you don't like.
Okay.
It's a
But I
very
guess you
vague
guys like this
process.
enough
We've
to
never
actually...
demoed the songs before, and this time we just decided to do it, and it was fun, actually. It was real fun.
Okay, well, let's hear it. This is Cool Thing, the version you're never going to see in the stores. And this is Sonic Youth on the New Afternoon Show.
Right next to each other, aren't they?
Sonic Youth,
Backwards.
the New Afternoon Show, Merry Christ, and the Big Fade. Is that something that you had to do to please the record label so the DJs could play it easier?
Well,
Or-
No.
When we were mixing them, we didn't like
Oh,
the
okay.
version of Cool Thing that was attached to that, so we just faded it out
Oh,
and mixed
okay.
a different version.
I
for
thought
the-
you had
for
to
the
make
demo.
it easy.
No,
To
they
play.
didn't really make us do anything like
That's
that.
cool.
They were initially 2 songs that we just played together, and then we didn't end up recording them that way.
And you said somebody covered that song recently, a friend of yours?
Some band from Atlanta is doing a cover of it already. They heard the demo, and it's, ridiculous.
Starting already. And before that, we heard that demo version of Cool Thing, which is the single. And
Right.
you said that doesn't have Chuck D on it. How did he come into the whole picture then if he wasn't in the beginning?
Well, Public Enemy was at Green Street recording their record when we were doing ours, and that the last 2 records we've done, they've been there doing their record while we were doing ours. So we've kind of hung out with them a little bit and gotten friendly with them. And Cool Thing was kind of loosely, Kim wrote it loosely based on LL Cool J after she had interviewed him for Spin. And so there was this whole thing going around in her mind, and we just thought it was a natural thing to ask Chuck to try and do something on it. And he was real loose about it. He came in and in like 20 minutes just, did his part. I mean, it's not like a big featured rap by Chuck D or something like that, but he's on there definitely.
Okay. So that's already a new way of the Sonic Youth of the 90s mixing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's in the video, so he's all over.
Yeah, do you want to talk a bit? You said you just did the video for this. Talk
Yes.
a bit about that, even though we obviously can't see it. But
All right, now the rap on the video is it's not an expensive home movie. It's a production. it's a what?
Promotional
tool. Thank you. I said
We
that so
learned
many
this
times today. I forgot.
We learned this in class.
did they give you
It's
like
not
a
an
dictionary?
art project. That's what they told us. It's not an art project. If MTV doesn't play it, it'll just be an expensive home movie.
Oh, okay.
So it's a promotional tool.
So we went out and made a promotional tool, and Tamara Davis was the director, and she's a young Hollywood director, and she was really great. And
And Chuck's in it.
Chuck makes his appearance, and there's a lot of
There's
dancing, a lot of craziness.
Dancing
and
girls and hired actors and even a hired pussycat.
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
The big promo item.
Yeah,
Okay, you guys need a dictionary, I guess, to keep up with all the terms they're throwing at you.
terminology.
yeah, we're learning.
Okay. One more thing I wanted to know: did that Made in the USA score? Did that come out?
No.
It's never come out, actually, and it's something that is very ripe to be bootlegged at this point, because I doubt it will ever come out. But
So that was a movie that was never
it went straight
released?
to video.
Oh, okay.
Actually, you can get it at the video stores, but the director and the producers had a lot of arguments, and I think in the end they changed our music around a lot, like things that were designed for one scene were used in another place, and so we haven't even seen the final cut. But we were real happy with what we did for that. It was like the whole underscore.
But if you get the video, you got your songs.
There's
will be
stuff
on
in
it?
there. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Amongst the Timbuk 3 cut and the World Party cut, you can find the
Definitely
Sonic
ripe
stuff.
to be bootlegged.
All right. Well, I'm kind of running out of time, but
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
really glad you came by. And once again, Goo, when will that be available to the public?
June 26th or something like that. A couple weeks.
Okay. Any other little projects we should know about?
Oh, I don't know.
We're going to play August 10th in
Roseland.
Roseland. All right.
Yeah.
Great.
with STP playing, and then we're not sure who else.
Come in your Carmen Miranda hat.
Are you going to be wearing yours?
I don't know. That's what
Well, we've got
Roseland
this new
seems
show.
like somehow.
Yeah, we've got this new show with lots
pineapples
of dancing
and bananas and
all sorts of things, wild things going on. So
some inspired by Madonna's current, tour. So
Oh,
we've
of
got some
course.
dancing boys on stage this time, and
Are you
hot
going to be
pants
doing
and-
the Chicona Youth stuff, or is that passe?
oh no, that's gone,
it's
Buried?
It's dead.
dead.
Okay, so, that whole project's kind of dissolved, I guess.
For the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
She's kind of on her own at this point. What can we do to help
Yeah,
her? It's
she
like,
did do well after your help, though.
It's true.
The whole voguing thing. Guess you guys aren't into that.
Nope.
No.
All right, once again, thanks for coming up. Sonic
Okay.
Youth Goo. Look for it coming up pretty soon. And I'm just going to wrap things up here. The New Afternoon Show can be heard every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. till 7:30. And I believe tomorrow, I don't even know who's going to be on tomorrow. We're just changing things around so much. But it'll be a surprise for everyone out there. As for me, if I even get to hear it. Anyway, let me just do some of these donor announcements since we got cut off. Some of the records heard on the New Afternoon Show have been provided by Rebel Rubble, located at 319 Bleecker between Christopher and Grove. They feature domestic and imported alternative records and CDs. Also, some of the records have been provided by the Record Stop. That's at 13 East Hartsdale Avenue off Central Avenue in Westchester, carrying independent and imported LPs. They also feature a compact disc center. Also, the Record Runner, which is at 5 Jones Street and West 4th Street between 6th and 7th Avenues. They carry domestic and imported releases. And one more, Pier Platters, and that's in Hoboken. 2 locations, 56
We
Newark
go there
Street
all the time.
and 55 First Street. All right. big Sonic Youth place, so maybe you'll see him out there. Anyway, I'm out of here. Stay tuned for Word Songs, a little delayed, but it will be here nonetheless in Siobhan, and I'll be talking to you next probably Friday, but somehow things always get changed around, so you never know when you're going to hear me again. And have a good time tonight. The church and Blue Airplanes are happening at the Ritz, so maybe I'll see you there. Good night.